Okay, let's talk about the setup. Actually, previously I was using different front tires. I was using the MST FRF tires, which is rounded, and the rear tires I'm using these top line tires, as you can see from the rear. But my friend commented and said that he laughed at me for using different tires. I was wondering why. So I tried changing to all top line tires, front and back, and it seems that when you do the reverse entry, it really performs, because all tires have the same grip now. So when it slides to the side for reverse entry, it slides together with the same friction. Now I understand what he means. So now let me go through the setup for today. For the lower swing arm of the rear wheel, I didn't adjust anything. It is the original distance. Okay, you can see, and the caster itself is original. Okay, as what it came. In fact, this one is actually, let me see, there is a marking here. It's A, yeah. This is A and this is B. For the front, I'm seeing A here. For the front, I'm seeing A on the left side and B on the right side. So it's opposite. Let me talk about the setup for the front wheels. Okay, as you can see, I have quite a high camber, but most important thing is I want to talk to you about is how do you adjust this lower arm and the upper camber adjustment. I think the first thing what you should do is, when you buy the RTR unit, RTR car, upgrade to turnbuckles. Okay, so upgrade to all these turnbuckles. Okay, and then keep the original part, which is a long headless screw. Keep the original part to be used later. Okay, for a start, let me show you. Let's take out the front wheel. Note that every wheel is with offset 5 mm. Okay, the reason why, let me show you, is you can see from the lower arm, I've already extended this arm here. Very simple, just take out this screw and then turn it anti-clockwise. Okay, the thing is you need to use a longer screw internally. That's why I say keep the screw that you exchange with your turnbuckle, and then get the longer one and put it inside here. Then you can really unscrew until this thing comes out. Okay, you can see it just comes out. Okay, you can see from the zoom in. Okay, yeah, see, it just comes out. I unscrew this whole thing until it's just here. So that means you can see that this bottom lower arm, swing arm, has a very wide track width. Okay, this gives you much more clearance when you're turning. Okay, this is to achieve a higher angle. Okay, then on the settings here, I make sure that I put the screws into the inner hole. Okay, you can see it's at the inner hole. Okay, similarly for the top also, the top is also placed on the inner hole. Okay, and then I adjust. Once you set these positions, I also make sure that your camber adjustment arm is with this position where you can get the highest camber, highest caster, the caster adjustment or camber adjustment. Look at this, look at this position and the shape of this triangle. Okay, the shorter part here is on the outer side, is on the rear side, and then I have moved it totally towards the back. So you can see now I got maximum caster. The whole hub here is tilting towards the back. Okay, the reason for this is when I go for full lock, okay, I got maximum contact patch here, maximum contact patch, okay, right, and when I'm straight, I have a camber of about 12 degrees. Yeah, it's very high, I know, but that's the reason, because I want a full lock here and I want it to be as slippery as possible for this wheel when it's moving this direction. Okay, so this will at least allow it to do a very smooth reverse entry without any resistance from the tires. Okay, because then you can see that when you turn it this way, your camber is so high that actually the wheels are only contacting at the edge. Next mod is the battery mount. Originally the battery mount is here. Now I have moved it up here. You notice that the position where I used to place the toe adjustment arm is now used to place the support beam for my battery. So I'm using, there are two holes here, one outer, one front and one back. So I'm using the front one for the toe adjustment rod, and I'm using the rear one for the support beam to hold the battery mount. Okay, the reason for moving the battery upwards is similar to all the other cars that are trying to have upper motor mount or upper rear motor mount for all the rear wheel drives, is to obtain a higher center of gravity such that when the car is moving sideways, okay, sideways this way, and the car is moving sideways, the higher center of gravity will actually tilt the car this direction. So when you tilt the car more to this direction, the weight of this wheel has more effect than the one at the rear. So which means there's much less grip at the end, but more grip on the one that is having full contact patch. Okay, so when you're drifting this direction with more emphasis and weight pressing on this wheel to the ground. Okay, another reason for moving the battery more towards is why you may ask, why don't I use this hole here and mount the battery up? Why did I use the one that is furthest at the back? Is to move the battery to the rear as much as possible, because the main purpose is for most rear-wheel drive cars, we are having they have the weight distribution of 40% and 60% between the rear and the front and the rear. Okay, so 40 and 60. So by moving this more towards the back, I have already done some weight measurement. I'm getting around here is about 41%, here is 59%, which is almost 60, which is good enough for a rear-wheel drive. Let's talk about the rear camber setting. You can see that there's totally zero camber on the rear wheels, and I'm trying to obtain as much contact patch as possible driving the wheels forward, because I need speed when I'm moving forward in order to do the rear entry turns You need a lot of speed to push yourself forward, so therefore you need maximum contact patch here. So 0 camber. And for caster, for toe, it's also 0 toe. It's all the way straight. So you get maximum power forward. The wheels are, the tires are not towed in, so it's not fighting against one another. So it's maximum forward. Another thing I did to the suspension, okay, is to bring the suspension in a bit, so that when you turn, the wheel is not touching the suspension or the shocks. At the moment, I have not drilled any holes, so you can see I'm just using a cable tie to tie the shocks to the lower swing arm, so that is actually moved inside instead of screwing into this hole. Originally it's screwed onto one of these holes here, which is now moved in. Okay, this is to give better clearance. About the gyro is actually placed in the middle of the car, so it's the best position that I know, because in any direction that it goes, this will be the best optimum position. Now let me demonstrate to you how much angle I'm getting with this setup. As you can see, I have a very high Ackerman because I couldn't achieve a 0 Ackerman due to the steering bar. Okay, if I need a higher a 0 Ackerman, I would need to change the steering shaft. But at the moment, because of my weight shift, I'm able to emphasize my weight more on the wheel that is guiding the car forward. Okay.